Hey folks, Valentin the Mad here, and today we'll be looking at the destruction side of Helldivers 2. Beginning with the buildings, so first up, most will be destructible. Relatively few can be brought down, and that is usually because they are related to an objective in the mission. As for the building damage itself, you will have some props on the outside that can be broken on a direct hit, but the main response will essentially be going from a clean to a destroyed state. You can't wreck specific walls or significant parts of it. As you've probably seen, the debris that wasn't flying doesn't stick around for long at all, and it all gets despawned in one of the worst looking ways I can possibly think of. I also should note that the wrecked remains model will be indestructible. As you can see though, it does confirm the terrain deformation. Now, to this one, it actually is a very cool feature. Most types of terrain will deform when hit by just about any kind of explosives. From a simple grenade to heavy artillery, which you have plenty of. And it is possible to deform further. I did try messing around and pushing this feature and saw something kind of interesting. At one point, rather than digging deeper, you actually have the terrain around the middle get higher. Not an issue, just something I found to be kind of amusing. Now, you can't have the terrain deform and the grass keep growing there, so vegetation annihilation is very much of a factor here too. Nothing too fancy, but for me seeing nice looking flora get blown up always had a strong effect, and as far as I saw, all vegetation can get destroyed. Some of the most responsive environments in the game are essentially the forest type. You can transform those almost completely. And of course you also have a bunch of fences, props, objects that will very much respond. Almost forgot to mention an interesting point that a very long time viewer of the channel, Plague Dr. James Penchy, noticed during my stream of the game. You actually have a good amount of bullet shell stay, something which I entirely missed out. And that immediately made me wonder, how would they respond when the terrain below gets deformed? Apparently, with a bit of a delay, but they won't be left hanging mid-air. Now, to the issues, those would be the Indestructibles. As I mentioned, the building remains, some walls around camps, for whatever reason, won't respond, and, kind of a big one, the rocks. Some of those actually will respond, but most won't, and when you have a terrain with plenty of those, yeah, you're not gonna be seeing much, and that is quite an issue. So here's an example of a responsive rock. And here is an example of an area where you really can't do much. In conclusion, how responsive an area will be will usually depend on how many Indestructibles you have around it, spoil the fun. In most cases, those are rocks, and I get why they are there, but I do think that perhaps deformation could be used on them too with the appropriate hooks, so not having them be wrecked easily, but not having them be static either, as they currently are. Like with the gore, I can't recommend it for response alone, but we have here much more than I was, at least, personally expecting. That is it for today. Do let me know how you feel in the comment section, and subscribe for more content coming your way soon. Until next time!